Do you ever feel like you're constantly fighting yourself? Like there's an invisible force holding you back, even when you know exactly what you need to do to succeed? It's not a lack of talent or opportunity. It's a silent internal war being waged in your own mind. This isn't about simple negativity. This is about a deeper, more insidious pattern: self-sabotage. It's that baffling phenomenon where you crave success, you work towards it, and yet at the crucial moment, you derail yourself. You get close to a breakthrough only to pull back, procrastinate, or create an unnecessary obstacle. It's the ultimate betrayal, betraying your own potential, your own dreams. I remember a project I poured my soul into years ago. It was a creative endeavor, something I dreamed of for years. I worked tirelessly, late nights fueled by caffeine and pure passion. The closer I got to completion, the more an unsettling anxiety began to fester. I'd find myself suddenly too tired, inexplicably drawn to distractions, or convinced it wasn't good enough to even share. I meticulously found flaws, not to fix them, but to justify abandoning the entire thing. Looking back, I see now it wasn't about the project itself. It was about the terrifying proximity to success, and a part of me, a deeply ingrained fear, was convinced I wasn't worthy of it. That project, my dream, ended up in a forgotten folder on my hard drive, a stark monument to my own self-inflicted failure. It's easy to rationalize these behaviors as bad habits or lack of discipline. But what if they are symptoms of a deeper, unconscious programming? What if your mind, in its attempt to protect you from perceived threats, is actually the biggest obstacle to your growth? Let's uncover the 5 hidden ways your mindset might be sabotaging your success, and the profound impact this has on your life, far beyond any single goal. The first sign is a relentless pursuit of perfection that leads to paralysis. You set impossibly high standards, convinced that anything less than flawless is a failure. This isn't about striving for excellence, it's about an incapacitating fear of making mistakes. The moment a task feels less than perfect, you abandon it, postpone it, or avoid starting it altogether. The irony is, this quest for perfection guarantees imperfection, because it prevents any meaningful action from ever taking place. You're trapped in a cycle of aspiration without execution, constantly building mental castles you never dare to inhabit. Second, you fall prey to the insidious belief of not enoughness. Deep down, you believe you aren't smart enough, talented enough, experienced enough, or worthy enough. This isn't a fleeting insecurity. It's a core conviction that acts as a filter through which you view every opportunity. You dismiss compliments, downplay your achievements, and constantly compare yourself to others, always finding yourself lacking. This belief ensures you never truly commit, never truly lean in, because why bother if you're inherently flawed? The third warning sign is an overwhelming fear of judgment or criticism. You censor your ideas, dilute your unique voice, or avoid putting yourself out there entirely because the thought of negative feedback is unbearable. This isn't just about disliking criticism. It's about a deep vulnerability to external validation. You'd rather remain invisible and safe than risk the discomfort of someone else's disapproval, even if that invisibility means sacrificing your true potential and impact. Your fear of being seen outweighs your desire to shine. Fourth, you exhibit a strong pattern of procrastination fueled by overwhelm and avoidance. You stare at tasks that need doing, feel a surge of anxiety, and then flee to distractions. This isn't laziness, it's an emotional response to perceived difficulty or the weight of responsibility. You push things off until the last possible moment, then rush, leading to suboptimal results or missed opportunities. This habit becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, reinforcing the idea that you can't handle things, further eroding your confidence. You're creating your own deadlines, then failing to meet them, and the cycle of self-condemnation continues. And finally, the fifth sign is a deep-seated fear of success itself. This sounds counterintuitive, but it's incredibly common. You might fear the increased responsibility, the scrutiny, the loss of anonymity, or the pressure to maintain a certain level of performance. You might even fear outshining others or leaving behind an old, comfortable identity. Unconsciously, you pull back just as you're about to cross the finish line, preferring the familiar discomfort of almost there to the terrifying unknown of actually achieving your dreams. This fear is often masked as external obstacles, but the real barrier is internal. The moment I truly grasped this was when I stopped blaming external circumstances for my stalled progress and began to look inward. I realized that the not good enough voice wasn't just a fleeting thought, it was a deeply embedded program running in the background, constantly rewriting my reality. My perfectionism wasn't about high standards. It was about avoiding the feeling of failure at all costs. My procrastination wasn't laziness. It was a desperate attempt to avoid the terror of starting and potentially failing or succeeding. This realization hit me like a ton of bricks. I was the architect of my own limitations. This understanding was painful, but incredibly liberating. It meant that if I was creating these limitations, I also held the power to dismantle them. It wasn't about fixing myself, but about reprogramming my internal dialogue, one courageous step at a time. I started by challenging my perfectionism, forcing myself to complete tasks imperfectly. I began acknowledging my not enoughness, not to believe it, but to observe it, and then consciously choose a different narrative. I faced the fear of judgment by simply putting my work out there, even when my stomach was in knots. The shift wasn't a sudden transformation, but a gradual, deliberate process of choosing self-compassion over self-criticism, action over avoidance. The breakthroughs weren't always external, often they were quiet, internal victories. The dread began to dissipate, replaced by a quiet sense of agency. The anxiety still surfaced, but it no longer paralyzed me. I started to understand that true success isn't just about achieving goals, it's about mastering your inner world, dismantling the invisible barriers you've unknowingly erected. It's about aligning your deepest desires with your daily actions. So, where do you stand? Are you consciously creating your future, or are you unwittingly allowing your past programming to dictate your present and future? Is your mindset your greatest asset or your most cunning saboteur? The real question isn't whether you're capable of success, but whether you're willing to confront the hidden battles raging within your own mind.